welcome everyone. My name is Edu Jensante. I'm your host here, and I'm followed by Joshua Meredith, who will be talking to you guys about Velo. And this is part two. In case you're wondering, where is part one? Part one is well saved and available on our webinars page. So I'll put the link down below. Actually, Shira is going to put the link because I don't have the link handy. But you can watch part one in case you missed it. And in case you came in late to this live, you can still watch part two, which is this one we're doing right now on this same link. It's going to be available a few days after we wrap it up, and it's going to be available in the group as well on Facebook. So you can actually, comment there, invite friends to watch, because Velo is actually a super powerful full stack tool that we created, and it's insane for you to get the most out of EditorX. So I think we're good to get started. Awesome. All right, guys. So just a couple of things here to make sure everyone is okay. If you want to make comments, just like, hey, this is cool, amazing, feel free to comment in the chat. That's fine. You can use the two, and you can put panelists and attendees so everyone can see that message. If you have a question, though, use the Q&A box. It's easier for us to catch up on the questions, and we're not going to miss you. Because if you do that through the chat, it's probably going to be lost there. If it's in the Q&A, we can follow up. We can get back to you, okay? So it's going to be easier. Hey, Sabrina, nice to see you. So always feel free to use the Q&A to ask questions, okay? We did receive a lot of questions in advance. I want to answer two already. The first one is, will this be recorded? Yes, it will. Second question is, how do I build a fully responsive website using Velo? You don't need Velo, you can use EditorX, and it's already a fully responsive tool for you to build your websites. So exciting. Now, I think we're good to get started. So Joshua here, as you can see, he is one of our DevRel advocates, and he's insanely good in everything about Velo, just like Meredith. She was talking to you last time, and now we got Joshua to share a little bit about Mega Menu, minimum cart notification, and how to do that with trigger emails as well. So a lot of really cool stuff. I'm not that technical, so definitely have to hand over to Joshua to cover that with you guys. And if you stay until the end, we obviously have a Q&A, and we'll make sure to answer, try to answer at least most of your questions you guys sent. And feel free to send them in the Q&A as well. Now, let's get started. So Joshua, floor is yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edu. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming today to our part two of our Velo by Wix and EditorX webinar. And today we're going to be going deeper into Velo itself. So again, remember, this webinar will be recorded, so you'll be able to come check it out, and you can ask questions along the way. So I'm Joshua, developer advocate for Velo by Wix in New York. And you can always check me out on LinkedIn or on Twitter if you need to find us and ask any questions as well about what happens in the webinar, anything else you have, any feedback about Velo and EditorX. Joining me today as well is Meredith Hassett, who is one of our developer advocates in San Francisco. And she also did our first part of our webinar as well. So familiar face that you can ask lots of questions, and she'll have your answers there for you today as you ask in the Q&A or in the chat. So we'll get started because we have a lot of things to do. We want to make sure we are keeping track of our time. And we're going to hit three main points today. But this is just from last time, just to keep you up to speed. We have, from the last time, we learned how to, the basics of Velo and all the things that you need to get started from your projects, either from a beginner to an advanced project that you want to make. We also learned how to combine the power of EditorX and Velo together to create an even better experience. Not only can you just make responsive websites with EditorX, you can also add full stack capabilities with Velo itself. Meredith also helped us dive into using some of our APIs and built-in verticals like Wix stores, where she showed a low stock notification for an item in a Wix store. So those are some of the things that you can do in Velo with EditorX. But today I'm going to show you some more examples as well. So as Edu mentioned before, we're going to learn how to create a mega menu. We're going to learn about enhancing our Wix store again by creating a minimum order notification. So a light box pops up if we don't have enough in our cart. The last point we're going to go and tackle today is triggered emails with Velo and EditorX. So before we get started as well, I just want to let you guys know that these techniques, you don't have to actually stay in line with what we're doing here. Velo gives you the capabilities to be a developer, to be creative. So take some of the techniques that we've created here that we're going to develop. And you can use these in different situations. So a mega menu just doesn't have to be for Wix stores. The minimum notification, the logic behind that doesn't just have to be for a pop-up when you don't have enough in your cart. Just remember, there's so many APIs that we have available in an API reference that you can check out and be as creative as you can as a developer with EditorX and Velo. And you can always check us out on our forum or on Stack Overflow if you have any questions about your development on the way there. So just always keep in mind being creative. So without that, we'll go to our website and we're going to pick up where we left off last time on the same exact website. So you guys know exactly how we're going to navigate here. So let me swipe over. And we have our shopping website. So the same shopping website that we had from the last webinar, but some differences that we've made here that we're going to dive in today. Like I mentioned, the mega menu, our triggered emails, and also we have our low stock, our minimum cart notification that will come up. So let me just show you what the mega menu looks like at the top. So once we click shop, about, this gives our users, our customers, whoever it is that's going to be visiting our website, a nicer user experience to get a feel of how to navigate through the website that we have. So it doesn't have to just be a shop. It could be a website for anything else, either it's for real estate agency, if it's for, maybe something for a video game, you name it. A mega menu is useful in many different cases. So it just looks nice, and you can always add more events. Today, we're just going to be going over a few key concepts of what it takes to build up this mega menu. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to pop up is our minimum notification. So once we'll do that, I'll show you exactly how to create a lightbox and have that pop up using our Wix window API. We also have our contact page that we'll use for our triggered emails. And you'll see the pop-ups as well for the minimum stock notification come up once we have an event trigger it. But this is what our contact page looks like. So that's our full site. And we'll swipe over to the editor. So if you can't see the editor now, just let me know for the screen sharing. Sometimes things get lost. But I think you guys should be able to see it here. So yeah. So I see some people already saying the mega menu looks great. Yeah, you can always customize it how you'd like. Remember, you have a bunch of design capabilities with EditorX, and then Velo, you can also add some other key things as well. So remember, if we want to get started with Velo, we have to turn on dev mode. So once we're in EditorX, we go right here into the top, right next to tools, and in between tools and help, we have dev mode. So this will give us our full stack capabilities with Velo. So turn it on. And remember, it requires zero setup. You can use your external APIs and add your custom code like we'll be doing today. So our mega menu is a piece of, is something that's going to be used on every single page on our website, right? So either if I'm on the contacts page, the home page, wherever I am, I want to be able to use the mega menu so I can navigate through it and get to all the different pages on my site that I'd like to. So that being said, that means that I don't necessarily have to make a page or just have this go for a singular be on a singular page. I have to have it reach every single page. And I'll use here on our site structure pane on the side here under global site, masterpage.js. So masterpage.js gives us the ability now to code for our entire website. All right, so I already have some code that's here already for our mega menu, right? But I'll be going over some of the concepts that we have here and then also filling in some code, some really key code to have this lightbox open and close when we wanted to. So we have our onReady function that's already here with our top menu clicks and a hamburger click. So these are some other functions that we've created that once this page is loaded, when we do click the mega menu and we toggle, the functions that we've created are actually going to open and close the mega menu. So we're going to be using properties like collapse and expand, not show and hide. Cool. So again, with Velo by Wix, you don't only have to stay tied to the properties panel that comes with the editor and the IDE. So that being said here, I can always click on any element that I have on our page, right, and add an event to the properties panel. But here that we have on our master page.js file, let me just move this up. You can always use arrow functions as well. Velo supports the latest versions of JavaScript, even ES6 and moving forward as well. let's go and add to our toggle functions that we have. So right now, I'm able to toggle for our about page. And when I say toggle, I mean being able to like click, have an event, and have it open back and forth, right? So clicking a button and making something happen. So we're going to create a async function because we're going to have an event, and then we're going to want something to return once something is finished. So we have our async function, toggle, let's say mega shop. Cool. So our next line that we're going to, the next couple lines that we're going to do, we're going to add some logic, and we're going to be using ternaries. The reason why we're going to be doing that, we can use if statements and if and else statements as well. But the ternaries, it's a lot cleaner for this instance, and it's a lot easier for us to read in terms of the code. So let's go over here and write wait. So we're saying wait when the, let's see, shop collapse. So we're going to be doing the about collapse. Shop. So if the about is collapse, about collapse, and then we're going to say question mark toggle mega about. So right now we're saying if it's not collapsed, then we're going to toggle the about. Right. So that's what we have. Toggle about is another function that we have created as well right here, right below. So we have our ternary. We're going to end that with our empty array. Next one, we wait, and saying if it is, we're saying, so if shop collapsed, we're going to go to, we want to make sure we want to match up for our mega about or our mega shop. So right here, we're going to be talking about our mega shop, mega about. So we're saying mega shop. So we have our mega shop here, and we're going to expand our mega shop. Cool. On the other side of our ternary here, we're going to collapse our mega shop. So the reason why we're using this instead of show and hide is because of the X and Y axes that we have on our page, right? So right now we're actually moving that element elsewhere away from there. Instead of showing and hiding, the element is actually still there. It's just not showing up on the page itself. So we've taken that out of the picture. And we're also going to go to our next line, and we can start to use some of our other properties that we have as well. And we're going to use some of our HTML properties that we can copy and paste right in, right? So because this will take a little bit more time to write. So we'll go here to about shop, or shop collapsed. So shop collapsed. And we'll say shop .html equals shop button. Because our shop button is our actual text that we have. And let me just zoom out. I don't know why that's zoomed in. Our shop toggle, our button here, is our button that we already labeled at the top. So that's how we'll be able to open and close our mega menu. So let me just go back down to our code here. And then we're going to have that actually equal to the same style that we have here on the bottom. Cool. Difference here is we're going to have that turn to our shop button and our shop button. We're switching the buttons out. And now we'll be able to open and close our mega menu from toggling it. So we'll go here again, and we'll say shop collapsed. It's not equal to shop collapsed. Cool. So we can go and test this out in preview mode. And we should be able to open up our mega menu now. So you can open up our shop or about. So notice here I have about and about. I have to change that name up. Let's go back to here and let's change this up. Let's see. about button text. So we have shop button text. Cool. So we go back to preview mode. So that also shows you that you can change some of your elements text programmatically as well. So it doesn't just have to be through the editor itself. Cool. So that's how you can start to build a mega menu as well. We can go through some of the more of the code here. So again, we have our toggle back and forth for when we want to open our mega menu, depending when we click the button itself, so shop or about. And then you can also control your styles programmatically with our HTML element as well. Right, so some more ternaries or some more functions that we have that we're using some of our conditional logic here to make sure that when we're clicking our button, it will open and it will close. So we can go and head over to our next example. It'll be a little shorter than our mega menu. And our next example is going to be about our lightbox and our minimum order notification. So before you get started with your minimum order notification, you want to make sure that you create your lightbox from the add panel. So from the add panel, you can find your lightbox and go from there, right? So you guys know exactly where it is, but we already have a lightbox already created. So I won't drag and drop another one in. Take a look at our minimum order notification. So we're saying delivery services are only available for orders over 200 or more. So some of these bags in the shop are quite expensive. And we could start to set our own minimum for how much we want our customers to put in their cart so that when they come to checkout, we stop them at the door if they haven't purchased enough yet. So this can help you in a number of different cases, in case like you are only shipping for orders that are worth your store shipping over, and it can also help boost your revenue as well because it allows customers to go back into shopping into your website. Cool. So once you create your lightbox, you want to make sure that you have a name that you can identify your lightbox by, because we're going to be using it in our code very soon. So I just named this lightbox minimum order notification. Just kept it simple. You can name it whatever you'd like. So the next step now, as well, for our minimum order notification, we have to find out a way to understand what's in our cart, how it got, like what's in our cart from every single user that comes onto the site, right? Depending on the user, actually. So in our backend here, if you go to code files on the side, I've created a backend file called cart.jsw. And what this file will allow us to do, we're using the Wix Stores backend API. And we're using the Wix Stores backend API to get the current cart of the user that's on the website right now. So if you're on the site, I'm able to get your current cart, what you've had inside there, what you've added. And what we'll do soon is collect the subtotals of what we have overall inside of our cart, so that we can return a notification if the subtotal is underneath our minimum, right? So here, all I did was import Wix Stores backend and created an export function so we can access it in our front end. Just called it get current cart, kept it simple so I can identify it, and created a variable here on line 4 for the cart itself. And we got the current cart, and now we're going to return it. So this is a function that we're going to use later on inside of our front end. So just remember, we use get current cart. So go to our page. We're going to go to our cart page. Cool. So we already have our onReady function already ready to go for us there. And what we'll do now is, since we want to control our lightbox, we want to import Wix window, right? So you can always see here from this autofill here, you can always see all of our APIs as well. And look at Wix window right at the bottom, or you can type it in yourself too. So we have Wix window, we'll import that. And it's idle because we haven't used it yet. And then we'll also import our function, get current cart. So we have our get current cart function from the back end. And we're going to import that from our backend file called cart.jsw. Cool. So it's idle there because we haven't called that function yet. And right in our onReady function, we don't necessarily need to use our onReady function yet, because first what we're going to do, we're going to create another function that we can invoke once the page is loaded. And the page that we're loading here is the cart page. So once our customer enters our cart page, we're going to open up that lightbox, and it's going to say, hey, if you haven't been over the minimum, go back to the shopping area. So it's cool. Let's create a new async function again. So it's async function. And we can name this whatever we like. We can just call it like check minimum or something like that. Check min amount. So the reason why I'm doing this as well is because I want to now set the limit programmatically. I can't do that through Wix stores. I can't do that through the verticals itself, but I can from the tip of my fingers just by being able to code this with Velo. So let's again create another variable for our cart. So let cart wait get current cart. All right, so that get current cart is back that we have from our backend that we have, right? So from our backend file. So we're going to invoke the function. All right, so notice how this is no longer idle. We just invoke that function that we have. And this is idle too, and we'll get to that in a moment. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start to add some if and else statements, and not else statement, just if statement, because we want to make sure that the subtotal is over the minimum, right? So we haven't set our minimum yet. So right above our onReady function, we can set our minimum. So let's just set a constant or variable that's not going to change here. So we have our minimum underscore amount. Okay, and we're going to equal that to, let's just say 1,000. Cool. So our minimum is set to 1,000. We have our onReady function ready to get something to go inside of there. And then we also started writing our own function as well. So let's just go and let me just space this out and add our next line. So we're going to say if, and we want to be able to use our current cart, right? That same function that we created from the backend, that we used the Wix stores backend. We want to be able to use that same function we created, get current cart, to find out the total, and then also go from the total to the subtotal of everything, right? So we're saying cart dot totals dot subtotals. So we're going deeper in, okay? And from there, we need to make sure if this is less than the minimum amount. Cool. So let's just space this out real quick. Let's see if this is less than our minimum amount. And we're going to open up our if statement here. And what we're going to do, if it is under our minimum amount, remember, we want to open up that lightbox, right? So that's the first thing that we want to get done. So we're going to use Wix window that we imported first. So we're going to say Wix window dot open lightbox. And then we also have to name the lightbox that we had. So if we remember, the lightbox we created right here was minimum order notification. So name it exactly how you wrote it and exactly how it's there, minimum order notification. Cool. So the next step here is we notice that we created our function, we have our minimum, even what we've imported our API and our function from the backend are both no longer idle as well, but our function isn't looking great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the same function that we have, check minimum amount, because we want to make sure as soon as that page is loaded, we'll check to see if the total that we have in our cart is underneath the minimum or not. Right, so that's why we use our onReady function. As soon as the page loads, we want to make sure that we're getting something. So let's just go to our product page and start to buy something and see what that looks like. Go to our product page, and we'll go to preview mode, and we'll just put something in the cart. So I've found this pink clutch. Get for someone, get something nice for somebody. Add this to our cart, and let's just add one of them. So we have our pink clutch in our cart, and we'll view. Let's go to our cart page. Hold on. So our lightbox didn't come up, so maybe we didn't have the name of our lightbox in there correctly. So let's just go back to the code here. Let's go back and check. see. Let's format our code a bit. And let's try this again. Let's check out. Nope. One second, guys. Let's just go back and check real quick our code. So we've imported our Wix window here. We have our get current cart. We've also set our minimum amount to 1,000. Okay, great. And then in our onReady function, we also have our check the minimum amount. So we're letting our, let's see, we have our let cart equal weight. Get current cart. That's from our backend. Should open up. Let's go from our homepage again. It looks like it should work. Sometimes when you're putting these things together, you just got to keep testing. Interesting. Let's see here. Oh, maybe I spelled something wrong. That's probably what it is. Sorry, guys. Let's try this one more time. Ah, here we go. Cool. So now the light box pops up and we have our delivery service for available if the orders are $200 or more, right? So we got to check if we have to make sure that everything is spelled right. I think I had async spelled incorrectly. Cool. So that's how we pop up our mega menu. So I'll give you guys another look at the code again. We'll go back to, not our mega menu, our minimum order notification. We'll take a look at this again and we'll go over the code. So we've imported our Wix window, our get current cart function as well. And we created another function to check the minimum just by using an if statement to check if the minimum is under the subtotal and then opening the light box. Cool. So our next example that we have, we're going to dive into triggered emails. So triggered emails, again, remember, it doesn't have to just be for stores or something for a customer. There's so many different instances that you can use all of these examples for. And what we'll do to get a triggered email up and going, we're going to use this for our contact page. What we'll do first is we're going to go to our dashboard and check out our marketing. Cool. So first thing we'll do, we'll go over here to our marketing and SEO, and we're going to go down from our dashboard to dev tools and triggered emails. So I have two different trigger emails here, but we're just going to work with the one at the top. So you can create as many different ones as you want. And the triggered emails are great because it's an easy way for you to send emails to your customers, your site members, and the contacts you have on the page. So today we're going to be going over contacts, and you can use the power of Ascend to design your email campaigns whatever way you'd like, right? So one of the unique things here that we have, it's a great feature to have here, is we just go and add variables. So again, our variables here are variables that we use to identify later on what exactly, we want to be able to identify later on the name of the person we're sending the email to. So we'll add, we added our variable for name. So say name, thanks for getting in touch with us. So it might just say Joshua, thanks for getting in touch with us, right? And that's why we'll be able to put that name into something later on inside of our code. So we'll save and publish. So we'll save this. And then we get our email ID that we'll need inside of our code. And then we also get some code snippets from Wix itself, explaining how to actually use this triggered email. So they get you up and going right away. and you just decide how you want to use it, either if you want to send it for a member or for a contact that you have. And today we're just going to rock with our contacts. So I'll just copy that. Got it. And we'll go back to our editor. Cool. And to our contact page. So one of the great things about Velo too is that you're allowed to open tabs on the bottom here, right? So the tabs are great because you're able to go back and forth from all your front end and back end files that you have, and it's just easier to open up. Great. So here I already have our triggered emails up and ready to go, just because it's already provided for us from the actual triggered email dashboard in the backend. So all you really need to do is just copy and paste. And I can explain to you guys a bit about what we're doing with the code here as well. So let's take a look at our page here. So we have our name input field. So we've named this name input. That's the ID we've given it from the properties panel. Email input. And we also have a button for submission. So let's bring up the IDE again. So you can see from here, you have the name input. The next one would be email input. And then again, our button. So you can see it all change inside of the properties panel. And we even created an event so when the user does click on the button to send their information to us, they'll be able to get that triggered email once that event is sent over. So just make sure that our ID for emails matches. So this one does not. That's from one of our old emails that we have. So let's match the ID up. You can find the ID back inside the dashboard right here, which is ID. Cool. And we'll change out the text here. So remember, you're given this code already to use Wix CRM. And Wix CRM is one of our APIs that you can use from the Velo API reference. You can learn a lot about it, and it helps you manage your business and some of the tools like sending triggered emails and saving contacts and emailing contacts or members of your site. So we use Wix CRM in a number of different ways to create the contact. So we've created the contact once the submission has been sent. So we've got your first name and we got your email. So that's what we only wanted to capture. And if you want to capture more information from your user, more inputs, you can add as many as you like, and you can add as many variables as you like as well to customize and personalize those emails when they're sent after these have been submitted from your user. So we've created this export function here. So once we've clicked this button, the action is cool. Anything that's inside of these inputs, either if someone has put their name, their email, we're capturing that and we're creating that contact with Wix CRM, create contact. That's one of our functions. We use .then as well to return that promise. So once that event is finished, we're going to then email the contact based on the email ID. So that contact is going to receive that triggered email that we have according to the ID. So we've uniquely identified it as that contact, letting us know, thank you for shopping at our site, or thank you for signing up, whatever we'd like it to be. And we're using that also with the variable that we have that we saved inside of our triggered email as well. So we have our name, and the way that we're going to capture that name of our user is by using the name input field that we have, and then also the value property that we're going to use. And the value property is going to be able to help us capture what is being typed inside of this input box, right? So there's other steps that you could take, and that's pretty much how you get a triggered email going. So remember, you always, when you create that triggered email, you're able to get your code straight from here. And it's just another way for you to speed up the way that you're developing these projects. Because remember, Velo is all about velocity. So you get this code already, get ready to go, and you can customize it however you'd like, just like how I did. Then you can also add some more .thens as well, so you can do something after the email was sent. So if you want to open up another lightbox, you can put another function there, just like how we created a lightbox for the minimum order notification. You can create another lightbox that's like another way to open up and say, you've got a 10% coupon now, or bring me to the homepage. And then you can also use error handling as well. So many ways that you can customize it. Just remember, be as creative as you guys can. With these examples that we have, don't stay set in stone with everything. That's what we definitely encourage you all to do with Velo. And I'm excited to see what else you guys build. So let's go over here. So today, remember, we checked out how to create our own mega menu. We did our minimum order notifications and also did a little bit of debugging as well. And we had little issues with some spelling And then also we learned about triggered emails and how easy it is to send these emails to your customer. And we've already provided you guys with a lot of the code to get it done. So Velo is all about velocity. Use some of these examples to your advantage. And you can always check out these webinars, this one and the one beforehand as well, on the EditorX website that was shared with you guys all before. And also, if you have any questions about Velo, feel free to reach out to Meredith and I on Stack Overflow. You can use the tag Velo. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn or on Twitter as well. And excited to see you guys in the next EditorX and Velo webinar. So excited to see what comes next.
Thank you, man. That's really, really good. I'm impressed because we're bug fixing and presenting. That was insane. Thanks again, Joshua. So again, look, everyone's super excited. That's super cool. I know you guys had a lot of questions. We'll try and answer a couple of them now live. So I want to invite Meredith to also join us here on stage. Pick your mic there. You can grab a seat, Meredith, and you're welcome to join us. Yay. Super cool. Nice, guys. Quick reminder that the recording of this webinar, as well as the part 1, is available on the webinars page of EditorX. The link's going to magically appear in the chat in a few seconds, whenever Shiri is ready. And let's look at the questions you guys sent. There are a couple of them here. I'll try and read them out for you guys. First one, I think it's a really important question. That's, I think, for both of you guys. Do you have any tips on how to improve the site's performance using Velo?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few different ways that you can improve in performance with Velo. So there's actually ways to do it without Velo as well, by using the content manager and data sets to load more data when you can. So it's pretty easy, and I can show you a little bit of what that looks like too. So we have we have our products inside of our shop, right? And you can go and create like a lookbook or a, some type of custom store page, however you'd like. Velo gives you capabilities to be creative with all the different verticals too. So we've already created this dynamic page right here at the bottom. And if you want to get started with this, we have our data set, and we can go in the settings of our data set, and we can just lower the number of items that we want to display at a time. So the less items that are being displayed, like the better the performance can be, because it's less content that has to load at a time. So we control the number there, and we can just add another button as well that we can connect to the data set, and then have that action of the button be load more. So that's how you can do it without code pretty easily. There's ways that you can combine this same button, right, with Velo to make the performance even better. And also give you the results that you want as well. So this same button, you can rename it, change the ID like how we did some of the other elements on the page that we did during the webinar. And then we can also add functions using APIs like Wix Data to then also query through our collection of products or whatever it is that we want, a collection of anything, and then actually query through and give you back the results based on what are there. And it can help optimize exactly like your site's performance, because sometimes we don't want to just load everything that we have in our collections. We just want to load specific things as well. So you could just, whatever your needs are, use Wix Data, and you can use the Wix Dataset API as well.
That's awesome. Thanks. Another question, I think that's for Meredith. Can you upload updated collections to the content manager through the API to update content on the website?
Yes, sorry, still trying to answer questions in the Q&A too for you guys. So yes, we do have some APIs for Wix Data called bulk update and bulk save, which allow you to do those bulk operations. You will have to transform your data from a CSV file or any other format into a JSON format, and then you'll be able to use those bulk functions from the Wix Data API to upload and do like a bulk transformation of your data if you need to, and you don't want to go through the content manager. You can also go through the content manager and upload a CSV file if that's what you have, if you want to do a more manual process. But if you want automated, we do have a bulk update and bulk save APIs for Wix Data.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. And I can see clearly that my background is missing on me. Next question. This is for you, Joshua. How to present data in the repeater using filters, especially using multiple reference fields?
Yeah. So kind of similar to like how I just showed you too, by using the content manager in data sets, right? So in that same menu for data sets, you can go back. It's got the example open too still. So here you can also use this data set to in the settings, and you can go and filter through the data set itself, right? And add different items based on whatever it is. Here is just based on the URL. You can do manual entry and change the condition or the field that you want to filter by. And not only that too, you can also use Velo and Wix Data API to then filter through, all the different fields. So take a look at the API reference. There's plenty of examples on the Velo example page as well to show you how to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question. I think that could be for Meredith. So it's literally like a ping pong in here. Olark, for example, can I say Ozark, for example, tells customers Wix sites cannot integrate their third-party chat. But I don't think that's true if you access through Velo. Are there limitations that would prohibit third-party chat services?
There are a few limitations. So if your third-party service does not currently offer an NPM module or a REST-based API, then you won't be able to integrate that service if they're using some other format for their APIs right now. That's a limitation because you are able to work with both NPM modules and REST APIs either through our package manager or through Wix Fetch. The other limitation to think about is, does that module need access to the DOM? So if you do anything with like document.getElementById or anything of that sort, or document.createElement, then no, you won't be able to have access to it, because remember, Velo does abstract away the document layer for you, and that's why we work with $W instead. So those are the only two limitations, but anything that has an NPM module or a REST API, you should be able to use once you enable Velo on your site.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you. Next question, maybe for you as well, Meredith, which is, how do you add a dark or light switch toggle on a website?
Yes, so we actually do have an example for this already and on the Velo examples page. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat if you want to take a look at that, because that'll just be faster for you to take a look at the code that we've already have written for it.
Amazing. I love that.
Isn't that great?
You guys are so fast in answering. Like, I mean, I'm barely reading the questions here, and then they're like 5,000 questions answered in the chat. Okay, next one. I want to make it difficult. Okay, let me try and read this question because there's a little bit of a spelling mistake here. Can I create a channel that explain Wix? Oh, is there a channel maybe that explain Wix Velo from scratch to a professional level?
Yeah, so there's we have so many resources to go check out. There's like our Code Academy course, we have our forum, the examples, our webinars as well. And you can also there's some also other resources that you can get as well from the marketplace, not to learn, but if you're going to hire somebody as well. So there's Velo certified developers that are there. So there's lots of resources that we have and content that we're releasing and working on now too. So you can go from zero to hero. And I think there's one on Udemy as well. Yeah, so there's a Udemy course that one of our users actually created that's actually really good. So I checked that out.
Amazing. That's great. So we'll make sure to add, it's all in the chat there. So if you go, Meredith's posting the links there, both for the dark mode learning code. So you can get started from there. That's amazing. I love the reference to zero to hero. Velo should be Velo, so it's zero to Velo. I don't know. Cool, guys. We got a lot of questions, but I think we're getting right on time. I know we're almost at the end of this. So let me see if there's any other final question, or I know you guys are answering a ton of them that are coming in the Q&A. As Joshua said, you can find both of them on Stack Overflow. You can also go to the Velo community. You can go to the Editor X community as well if you have a question that's more related to the Editor X / Velo kind of, how do you get, most of them, and you're not really sure if it's a Velo question or maybe an Editor X question. So feel free to ask it there. And you can ping those guys as well on Stack Overflow, as said. They're also available on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm pretty sure if you hashtag Velo somewhere in the clouds, they will show up and answer the questions. Cool. Let me see if there's something else. Any other? I know most of the questions are being answered in the Q&A. And again, to people who asked this at the beginning, will this be recorded? Yes, it is being recorded. So you will be able to watch this again and again and again on our webinars page. It's also available on our freshly out of the oven Facebook group for EditorX. So you can go there as well to watch the replay. So that's pretty awesome. So cool stuff, cool stuff. Let me see. Any final words from you guys? Anything else you would like to share? Let's see if there's more questions come in the meanwhile. Okay, I guess not. So I have a question then for you guys. Is there an option to upload product price programmatically? That's a really hard word to spell, for option variants.
For option variants, it's a good question. I think we have an example on the page for like the configurator, but I don't believe you can go and change the price from the API itself programmatically. You have to go and use the menu. But I can definitely double check and give you that answer, because I'm not necessarily 100% sure. I'm not going to, say something I don't know about.
That's no problem. That's good. That's good. I know you got like a lot of new questions that just popped at the very end. We're trying to populate them as fast as we can, so we can get them through in time. But let's see if there's anything else here. Let's see. Okay, I think we got most of them actually. That's good. And I know there are more that are still being answered through the chat. And again, guys, if you want to post your questions on the Facebook group, I'll try and get the guys to help us out. If not, you can go, as I said, like to the Velo forum. You can go to Stack Overflow as well. And super, like a lot of really good kudos here. Ben said, like, thanks for all these great sessions. They're being amazing to watch. Looks promising. A lot of people thanking you, Josh, for the presentation today. It was really good. Really, really nice to have this. So thank you both for coding and presenting, because that's like a new skill. We were talking about superpowers at the beginning, and I think that's one of them. So thanks again. And thank you everyone for being here.